So, Metal Warriors, welcome back to Iron Madness. We still go on with our interview section here in the channel, and as you can see, our special guest today is Todd, the guitar player and founder member of one of my favorite bands, in fact, of Brainstorm. So, Todd, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks a lot for having me. So let's have a good time.
Of course, sure. So, as always, my first question is to know more about the guest, about you in this case. So I want to know how and why did you start listening to metal music?
It's actually, I started at the very, very early stage of my life because my cousin owned all the AC/DC vinyls,
Mhm.
and I was about 8 years old, and he was 5 years older, and I always listened to all the AC/DC stuff. So that's when I got infected with all the hard rock and metal music.
Mm-hmm. Very nice to start, of course, with nice music, as I can see. And now let's start talking about the new material, the new music, because Brainstorm is going to release their new album, Plague of Rats, in a few days, the 28th of February. So first of all, I want you to tell us a little bit about what can you expect about this album, because with the previous ones you reached the top charts almost everywhere. Is it important, all of that, of the charts and the views and everything? What can you expect to reach for this Plague of Rats?
Well, first of uh, all our fans can expect 100% Brainstorm, of course. This is what we're known for, and um, this is what we also did for Plague of Rats. We're a power metal band that is a little bit darker than the usual European power metal stuff, and but fans love us for that, and there's no reason to change. There's the only reason is, or the only aim is, to push it even further. You know, to get better songwriters to release better songs, and we really hope that we achieve this game this time.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I totally agree. Now I would like to talk a little bit about the theme of the album, because it has again an Indian theme, and I say again because it is not something new for the Brainstorm fans. We have seen something similar, for example, in Shiva's Tears and stuff like that. So where this idea comes from and begins?
Well, actually, I love writing songs with those kind of Eastern, Middle Eastern, India scales or chord progressions, and even the instruments.
Mhm.
So for me, it's a big pleasure to write songs in that style. And for Andy, who is doing all the lyrics and all the vocal melodies, he's so much interested in those kind of cultures, ancient Egypt, India, Hindu, whatever. So we both love writing those kind of stuff, And for this time, we had the album cover at the very early stage of the songwriting process. And when Andy presented me the cover, which he was working on with our cover artist, uh, I was like, wow, okay, this has to be a focus on the album. And I think 15 minutes later, I already had the guitar riff for Garuda
Mm,
written. So
the
it
first
was
single.
kind of yes, it was kind of a kickoff. And the album cover for sure was a huge inspiration for the songwriting this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really nice story. I like to hear that. Now to talk about into the more into the album, about the collaborations, because you have collaborated with two singers, as we saw in the previous album, and if I'm right, you did it with Phoebe Wagner from Rage, awesome, and with Sebastian Sip Lieberman from Ordonogan, two awesome collaborations. But the level is still very high for this album, because we have Alex Kroll and Elina Sirala from Leaf Size, two very distinctive voice actually. One Alex with the growls and and the harsh voice, and Elina with the operatic one. We have them in Your Soul That Lingers in Me and From Hell. So Could you tell us how did these collaborations came out?
It's when I was writing on the songs with Andy, uh, it was like your soul that lingers in me. It was like we always heard kind of a female voice on that song, and for From Hell, as it is one of the fastest and hardest song on Plague of Rats, it also felt like this song would be amazing with having some growls into it.
Mm-hmm.
And as Andy and Alex know each other for 30 plus years, so they live in the same area and they know each other for so long, it definitely was about time to do something together, and this was actually a very easy one. Andy picking up the phone, calling Alex if he wants to be part of a song, and luckily he agreed, and so we're very honored to have him and Alina as guests on the album. And as Alex is one of the best growlers, I think it is such an amazing addition to the song with the extra vocal color into it. So it was perfect. And for Elena, when I heard the first recordings, including her voice, I still get goosebumps when I listen to it. She has such a great voice, and yeah, it was just amazing, and it's so good to have them as guests on the album.
Yeah, it's fantastic. As I said, they have two distinctive voices, but for me, I think the result is also awesome. And I mean, I like the whole album, but those two songs specifically are very, very great. And I think, as I said, the result is very, very good.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, of course. Have you thought about going on tour with them because of also the collaboration and the relationship and everything? Because of course they had already planned their tour. They are starting right now or in a few days. So I
Yes.
guess it has been impossible for this time. But have you thought about that for the future?
That definitely would be something. I think everybody of us would find it as a good idea. It's
Mhm.
we even talked about that when we met a few weeks ago. But both of our tours are already booked, so maybe this is something we can do in future.
Okay, nice to hear that. And if that happens, of course, I'll be very, very happy. Todd, now that I have you here, I want you to share with us which is your favorite song or your personal recommendation from this upcoming album, Plague of Rats.
Well, I definitely have two favorites on the album. It's the Shepherd Girl, which is the third single, which is just actually it's one of the songs that all band members have in their top three, which is very seldom. It's always, oh, I like this song more, I like that song more. But the Shepherd Girl is, I think, one of the songs on Plague of Rats that defines what Brainstorm is all about when it comes to mid-tempo banging, melodic, typical Brainstorm song. And the other favorite I have is Beyond Enemy Lines, which is the album opening track, simply because it's such a great up-tempo track. And I love the guitar opening, and I love the chorus. So I think both songs are the best possible representation of when you want to describe Brainstorm to somebody who has not listened to Brainstorm before.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, those songs are very Brainstorm, as you say. So now that we're talking about your new album, the music, the sound of it, I wanted to ask you about the sound of the band. Has the band sound changed a little bit, over the years? I mean, you put a Brainstorm album, of course, Plague of Rats also. From the first riff, from the first note you hear, you recognize Brainstorm. But I find some differences between, for example, these two latest albums, Wolf Schools and Plague of Rats now, than, for example, Memorial Roots and Scary Creatures.
Yes, definitely. You're absolutely right. And although we are trying to stick to our roots somehow, and not going too far away from them, because that would not be the real Brainstorm music DNA if we would be too far away from our roots. But we always try to progress as songwriters, and as we are all still fans and also listening to music, we don't only want to be a vintage sounding band. So we want to sound modern without losing our identity. So we allow us during the songwriting to look a bit left and right and to see what is happening, especially when it comes to sounds. And as long as we say, well, this is still Brainstorm, although we progressed in maybe sound or songwriting, then it's okay for us, you know. And especially, as you said, it's different than, for example, Memorial Roots. Plague of Rats is the third album we are working together with Steve Leverman as producer, which for us was I think, a very important move, because Steve is such a incredibly talented musician and producer. He has such a great knowledge of songwriting and harmonics and all that stuff. So it definitely was the right decision to go with Steve, even for the third time now. It feels like he's the sixth band member. Meanwhile, he's always a very good source of inspiration and information, and so I love working with him, and you can hear it on the albums. I think with Midnight Ghost, Wall of Skulls, and Plague of Rats, you can hear that we managed to focus, or we managed to have a better focus on the songs, and maybe leave out some overlong parts, or some too many different parts in the songs. So I think the songs since Midnight Ghost are more straight to the point, although we still have some epic ones, but even those are very focused, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Continue talking about the sound. I would like you to define yourself, your style as a band. You said before that you are probably a power metal band, but more darker than the most general bands in power metal bands in Europe. So I wanted you to define that more specifically, and about your influences in general for creating this Brainstorm sound that we now recognize as Brainstorm sound. Because I mean, yeah, it's a unique, it's different. So yeah, if you can explain us about that.
Yeah, definitely. It's when we started as a band, of course, you have many influences, and you're doing cover versions and all that stuff just to learn how songwriting, what songwriting is all about, and you have your favorite bands. Of course, as we are all children of the 80s, we have all that great metal bands like Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, Saxon, Black Sabbath, Van Halen. So this definitely was a huge influence for everybody in the band. But also, we have been very much into American power metal and American metal in general, like bands like Savatage or Queensryche or Iceturf and bands like this, or even bands like Testament or at the harder edge of the music sound. But I think you still can hear that, although, as you said, we managed to create our own power metal Brainstorm style.
Yeah. Let's talk about your tour. You're going on tour in a few days, just the day before releasing the new album. You're going over Germany, over the Czech Republic, Netherlands also. you're going with Arion and with Stranger Vision, and of course it's the presentation for the new album tour. So do you know already how many songs more or less are you going to play from the new album?
Oh, at least 4 or 5. It's we really cannot wait to be back on stage again. It was a very long time since Wall of Skulls, and although we played very much shows for that album, it definitely is about time. And what is different this time is we go on tour exactly when the album comes out. So these are release shows, so to say, and we cannot wait to present the new songs to our fans. Definitely.
And now specifically about, well, one song of the album, but in general, because in the whole Brainstorm career, we can find some songs like this, songs that, talking about the vocal lines and the lyrics, step each other a little bit, start singing, and then the other line comes before finishing,
Yep.
you know, steps each other. So we can find it more or less in False Memories from this album. We have many other examples, as Twisted Ways from Scary Creatures was one of the first songs I heard of Brainstorm when I was a little kid. So those kind of songs are directly related, like the possibility of playing it live. Or you already know that it's a song only for studio and for the album?
And no, we are always trying to everything we wrote everything we write should we be able to present live as well, you know. And even with the overlapping vocals, you know, which is very typical for Andy, and I think this is something that is very amazing, and he still manages it to combine it live, so nobody gets the impression of there is missing something, you know. And even Milan and me, we are still doing the harmony vocals and the backing vocals. So we think we have a pretty decent live setup, even for the choirs and for everything.
Yeah, and very interesting, because it's not easy. At least not every band does it. So really nice. Regarding about the tour again, are you the headliner for this tour? Because the name of it is the Plague That Burns the Sky, which is a mix between Plague of Rats and Arion's upcoming album too. So I thought that it could be a co-headline tour or something, but I don't really know.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a co-headlining tour with Brainstorm and Arion, and Brainstorm is closing all the shows, but it's a co-headlining tour, and we are very looking forward to it. It's I don't know if you have heard the new Arion album yet, but it's great.
Yeah, and now also regarding a little bit about the tour, more or less, I just pointed over here in my list that Ambiguity and Liquid Monster this year turns 25 and 20 years old, respectively. It's the 25th anniversary for Ambiguity and the 20th anniversary for Liquid Monster, both really meaningful albums for Brainstorm. So have you thought about, playing a couple of songs more about those albums for this tour?
Not for the release shows. We will have songs from Liquid Monster also on the release shows, which are live classics for the fans. But of course, we have to concentrate somehow first on the new album first. And but we're working on a bigger tour in fall, and there for sure will be a different set list, of course. But as we have released the first album back in 1997. We will have 30 years of Brainstorm music in 2 years. So this is definitely something we are thinking of doing something special.
Wow, it would be really, really awesome. 30 years, long time ago, a lot of good music in between, and
Yeah.
it sounds really, really great. And you said you were planning on doing a tour, like a bigger tour, for fall or something like that. So it's one of my my jobs. I must ask you about Spain, about dates in Spain. Are you planning on coming over here, maybe later in a few months, or summer festivals over here in Spain? Probably maybe a leg two of the tour.
And yes, we're definitely planning to play in Spain. We had 2 great tours with the last album only in Spain and Portugal, which was both have been, I don't know, almost a week spending in your beautiful country. So we definitely are including Spain in our touring plans, definitely. So, but we're still in the booking phase, so to say. So we'll see. As soon as it is confirmed, we for sure will let you know.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's something difficult to plan and hard, long. So we will wait for now, but we are really looking forward to see you again over here. What can you tell us now about regarding the new album, about the bonus track? We have a cover for the bonus track, and Brainstorm has always offered us a really nice bonus track. We have another example with Wolf Schools called Brace was an awesome song. Where this idea comes from to do it a cover for this time, and it's going to be released with a special digipack, I think.
Yes. The bonus, the cover will be released on the limited edition yearbook and on the limited edition digipack. And yeah, it's not very often that we do cover versions, but for this time it was like we all love that 80s big movie soundtracks and that 80s music in general. And for Celebrate Youth from Rick Springfield, this was one of the favorite songs from Andy and me when it comes to music from the 80s. So it has a special meaning, of course, for us. And as we only do covers when we think it is really, we can show respect to the original artist, which for us is very important. And we think it is a great cover version that is definitely worth listening to.
Todd, we're almost in the end, and now I would like to give you a brief time. So, I mean, now is your time. I want you to send a message, whatever you want, and we are going to listen to you.
Thanks a lot. I think you almost said it all. But of course, the first and most important is this goes out to all our fans. Thank you so much for your loyal and long support over the years, and that you guys are still welcoming us wherever we come and play. This feels great, and this is our fuel to go on and on and on. And we look very much forward to being on tour from the 27th of February, and we look forward to meeting as much as possible from you guys, or later in the year on the festival, or on the tour in fall, which we are already in the bookings. So thanks a lot for having us, and thanks a lot for loving our music.
And buy the new album, of course.
Of course, buy the new album, everybody.
Yeah, sure. Todd, thank you so much for your time, for being here in my channel, Iron Madness, today. It has been a pleasure, and I hope you had a great time.
Was my pleasure. Thanks a lot. Metal Warriors, nos vemos en la próxima.